Numerous studies have shown that relationships are the key to living a long and happy and healthy life. They actually show that if you have a few close friends that you can tell anything to, you're more likely to live a longer life, like by 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 extra years. And so I want to talk about some of the key things that have helped me build better, authentic relationships, genuine relationships, and really connect better with people. The first one might be kind of obvious, but it's so important. It's to actually care about people. So you have to care. You can't just show up and not listen to people and not actually ask about them or be interested in them. You have to care. You have to care about them. You have to care about what they care about. You have to care about them. And so it doesn't mean that if they like soccer, you have to like soccer. But you ask them about their love for soccer. You ask them about what they're doing. And so really genuinely care and come from a place of love and compassion. This can help you so much. I know this has made such a difference in my relationships, and that if someone genuinely cares or acts interested, it's life-changing. Number 2, take care of yourself. And so I know that's not about somebody else, but it actually is. Because when you fill your cup, when you take care of your health, when you eat healthy, when you exercise, when you do the work on yourself and build a life that you love, you're going to show up better. You're going to show up better for people. You're able to ask them more about how they're doing. You're able to spend that extra time with them. You're able to truly show up fully because you are a full human. Have you ever seen that with relationships, that you want to bring 2 whole people to a relationship? One person is themselves and has their own life, and another person, and then you guys are together. Not like you're trying to complete one another. You want to be that whole person, be a person that's taken care of and that's showing up well for themselves and for others. Number 3, let people be themselves. This is so key. You're not going to be the exact same person, but in relationships or in life, we're all different. And so let them be them. You can have boundaries, and yes, there's healthy boundaries where there's limits or there's certain things that are unsafe or harmful, but other than that, let them be them. So stop trying to change them. Stop trying to make them into who you want to be, and appreciate them for the people that they are and value that about them. And so too often I see a lot of people are trying to change people or morph people into their idea of what they want for that person. But if you just show up, that you care about them, you love them, you're there for them, regardless of if they do this activity or that activity, or if they're dancing around being silly, or if they're being calm, you just love them for them. And let them be them. They're going to feel so much better when they feel fully accepted by you for them being themselves. A lot of people feel this disconnect when it's like they're being themselves and people are like, ugh, this is awful. And so you can look at yourself and go, okay, am I showing up in a way that is just not pleasant, or that's mean, or that's hurtful? But if you're not being mean or hurtful or something, maybe just that person that you're connecting with just doesn't get you. And so go find somebody else. But really try to accept people as they are. That's what people want. They just want to feel seen. They just want to feel loved and valued for who they are. And so see them and let them be them, and acknowledge them, and acknowledge some of those things about them. Specifically say, like, I love that you are so enthusiastic about this, or that you're so passionate about this, or even if they're intense about a certain topic, but that's something that's cool about them. Know how to regulate your emotions. So emotional intelligence is key. I'm going to be doing a video on that. I think it's so important, and it's actually been shown to be more important than IQ as a predictor for success in life. And so there's 4 components of emotional intelligence. Part of it is your self-awareness, and it's also your ability to understand other people. But you want to know how to regulate your emotions. So regulate. It doesn't mean you never feel something. I'm a big advocate for prevention with anything, like with health. Let's prevent being sick. So let's take care of ourselves. Let's exercise. Let's eat well. But eventually you might have an injury, you might have something come up and you need to see the doctor. But for emotions, like, go do healthy habits, design your life in a way that feels good for you. But eventually you're going to get sad, you're going to get mad, you're going to have that come up. So anger is okay, sadness is okay, but just punching a wall or hitting someone or just being totally distraught isn't fun or healthy or effective. And so how can you manage your emotions and process them and learn to regulate? And if you're interested in more tips on this, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to do a whole video on how to regulate your emotions, how to manage them, what feelings are for, all that good stuff. I'm so into this, and I studied this actually in my undergraduate degree, and then after, just learning about myself and why I would think certain things or feel certain things. And so I learned about it. So let me know in the comments below if you want more tips on this. Have things for yourself that you love. It's easier to show up for other people when you already are filling your cup or when you have interests, instead of just you're just showing up or you're trying to glom on to somebody else. Have things that you love that are separate from other people. And then when you are doing what you love, it's kind of like what I talked about earlier, being a whole person, you're able to show up better, and you're going to be a better person and have more to offer and be able to listen and care more. In life, we're constantly growing, and hopefully you're growing and learning along the way, but we're going to change. We're morphing. We're going on our own journey. We're learning about ourselves. We're going through some things that we've gone through. We're going through goals. We're working on projects. We're trying to change ourselves, whatever, or we're experiencing hardships or exciting things. And so go through the journey with people. Be willing to be there for their highs, for their lows, for their lessons, for their learnings. And so if you really care about someone, you're going to be there through that. I know it's been awesome having my beautiful husband, and we have just grown together. We've grown so much as individuals, but we keep growing together as well. And we support each other's growth and each other's journey of self and of being. We weren't 35 or 36 or 40 when we got together. We got together when I was in my early 20s and he was in his mid 20s. And so we've grown a lot since then. And it's been beautiful to be able to grow together and to feel supported and to have someone who actually works with you and supports you and acknowledges you and loves that you are growing and loves that you're growing together. It's beautiful. Another thing I want to say about this is that you can make changes in your life or want to make changes in your life, and there's people who don't support it, or the people that you love don't support it, and this can be really hard. Now, if you're doing something that's not harming anyone or that's not hurtful or harming yourself, like, it's okay. And a lot of times it's based on someone else's own journey, that they're like, oh, well, I wouldn't do that, or maybe they have experience trying what you did and it didn't go well for them, but you're on your own journey. And so I encourage you to really do the research for yourself, and if it's something you really want to do and if it's not harming yourself or harming other people, then be bold enough to go for it. And people, if you are having someone in your life that's trying to do something or trying to make a change but maybe you wouldn't do, but it's going to help them, or it's something they need to go through to get to the other side or to get to a new perspective or lesson, then try to support them. I think that's one of the hardest things, is when you want to change or you're excited about something or you want to try something, and then someone you care about or the people you care about just don't get it or don't support you. And so I will tell you, especially with like the business world or something like that, or with content creation, there's a lot of people who will get you. And so even if the people that you're close to right now don't, find people who do. Another really key part when you're just getting to know regular people or new people is to get to know people's names. Start learning about them. Ask them questions. And so you want to actually get to know someone, right? People feel cared for and they feel understood when you actually listen to them, when you get to know their name, when you maybe see them again and you ask them about something that they talked about or that mattered to them, or if they told you they had kids and you asked about them, or if they said that they did this new activity and you asked about the activity. So start getting to know people, get to know their names, use their names. It's our favorite sound is hearing our name, and then start learning things about people so you can start building those connections and show that you care, and do it because you care and that you want to connect with people. People feel more connected when you know their names, when you know things about them, and when they feel like you actually support them and care about them. Serve, love, give. Relationships work really well. This is with any type of relationship. I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. I'm not just talking about friendships, work relationships, relationships with acquaintances or connections, anything. It's to really serve, to love, and to give. It's critical to serve other people, to show up well for them, and to actually, how can I support them? How can I pour into them? What do they need? So learn about what they want, learn about what they need, learn about how you can support them, whether it's listening to them, whether it's providing something for them, whether it's doing something for them, doing something with them. What do people need, and how can you support that desire or that need? Really awesome thing to do for people and in relationships or with your kids or anybody, or like I do with students as a teacher, is to acknowledge something specific about them. Acknowledge something specific about what they do, how they show up, etc., or a talent or a gift that they have. Maybe they are really communicative, and they're able to communicate really well. Then say that to them. Maybe they're an excellent basketball player. So tell them about their work ethic or about how they are able to be successful or how they are successful. If they are really kind, tell them you are so kind and compassionate. I love how you always care about people, etc. So it's really important to acknowledge specifics. So acknowledge some of these things. I love how curious you are. I love that you ask so many questions. Or I love how prompt you are. You're always on time. You're always early. So acknowledging these specific attributes or these specific actions of people is critical. It lets them actually know what they're doing well or where their gifts are, instead of just, oh, you're such a great person, or you're so wonderful, or thank you so much, you're awesome. Okay, why are you awesome? Why are you these things? It's because I really like how responsible you are. I really like how kind you are and empathetic you are. I love that you pick up trash after school. Like whatever it is, acknowledge it. Make people feel seen. This is so critical. It's a little bit hard to do sometimes when it's someone you don't know, but if you really get to know their core and ask questions, and so you can make them feel seen, like acknowledging them. If they're saying they're having a hard time or they're struggling with something, acknowledging that and saying like, yeah, that is really hard. Or I'm so sorry you're going through that. That must be so difficult. And I'm really proud of you for continuing to keep going and to try to improve or to move through this. Like I see how hard you're working, even though you're experiencing this hard thing right now. Like I'm so in awe of you for that. So like see people, or if they're your kids, if they're having a hard time, or like you tell them no or they can't have something, acknowledge that and see them like, hey, I know you really, really want that. Like that would be so fun to have. Or I know you love when you get to do that, but right now we can't. But I know that you really wanted that. I see you. I know that would be so cool, or that would be so fun. We just can't do that right now. So at least you see them instead of just like, no, you can't do that right now. And then they're all upset. It's like, well, sorry, you can't. Like that's a totally different experience for the person and for yourself in your relationship. So really see people, or if someone pours their heart at you and like actually say, like, show that you see them. Don't just go, oh, wow, that's a lot. You could say, hey, that's a lot, but I really appreciate you sharing all that with me. And I know that you're going to get through this, or I love how hardworking you are. I know you're going to keep crushing it as the CEO at your company, or whatever it is. See people and tell people you see them by sharing kind of back what they say to you, or showing that you heard them, right? Sometimes people, you hear them, but you don't show that you hear them. And lastly, be genuine and kind. Like, I love people who are just genuine and kind. They're not hiding things. They're not trying to get certain things. They're just being kind. And so show up that way for people, even if that's not as natural to you. How can you just be kind, caring, open, be there for people? It makes such a huge difference. How many of you really love when people, like there's someone in your life right now that you can think of that's just such a kind human, that's so empathetic, or that is just genuine, and you love that about them? It's awesome. I know I said lastly, but I thought of one more thing, is to bring something to the table. And so in relationships, you do want to get to know the other person. You want to get to know these things. You want to be kind and all of those things. But you also want to show your competence. You want to show that you have something to offer. And so the more you can do this, and this is something I've moved more to or towards, is that, hey, I have a lot of information on certain topics, or I have this skill in this. And so being able to share that is a really, really helpful to be able to network with people, to connect with people, for people to be interested in you when you're an interesting character, or when you actually share, hey, yeah, I am working on this, or yeah, I did write a book, or whatever. Then people have something to ask you about instead of just the normal day-to-day stuff. They don't know unless they know. And so a lot of times, especially me, I don't want to just brag or just share about it or tell any random person, but then I could be missing out on some connections or someone to actually be connected to me because I'm not sharing what my full self is or what I'm working on. If I'm not sharing, hey, yeah, I have a YouTube channel. Hey, I want to help people, and I help people with their money, their mindset, their habits, and their emotions. And I want to reduce suffering in the world. I wrote a book. I have a blog post. We have these cohorts that we're going to be doing that talk about financial education and that help them. I have this ebook on investing that can help people to go from $0 to multiple $1 million. And so that's interesting. And so be able to share that competence or share offerings with other people. All right, I hope this video was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments below if you have any takeaways or if you have any tips on what's worked in your relationships or connecting with other people. Feel free to like and subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one. Keep learning, working, and growing. You got this.